Welcome to Blindspot, an audio podcast series about forensic science and the role forensic experts play in our judicial system. The name Blindspot comes from the fact that forensic experts can see and hear what laypersons cannot. Forensic experts reveal the blind spot in court using their experience and expertise as forensic scientists.
In this episode, we're going to visit with 25-year veteran Chicago trial lawyer Shawn Warner. We're going to discuss the role of the forensic expert, why hire a forensic expert, and what do lawyers look for when hiring a forensic expert. Shawn, thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us today on Blindspot.
No problem. Anything I can do to help, I'd be more than happy.
So, just so that we have a sense of your expertise, how long have you been practicing law?
I've been practicing law for 25 years. I was admitted to the bar in 1988, and I was admitted both to the state bar and the federal bar. And I think later that year, I was also, in 1989, I was admitted to the federal trial bar. So for the federal court, there's two admissions you need, a general admission and then a federal trial bar.
Got it.
If you're going to even argue a summary judgment in federal court, you have to have a trial license there.
I see. Okay. Got it. Thank you for explaining that. So what types of cases do you handle most of the time?
Most of the time, I'd say I do approximately 30 to 40 to 50% medical malpractice, product liability cases, personal injury cases. I have taken on some more business litigation of recent just because as I have become a little bit older, I meet more people in business and they want me to represent them. So I'm doing about 20 to 25% business litigation now, along with the other litigation.
Okay. And you probably use forensic experts quite a bit in these different litigations. Can you tell us a little bit about the type of forensic experts that you've worked with in the past?
Well, I have worked with, when you're getting to talk about a forensic expert, that takes a real wide range. It can be anybody. In any medical malpractice case, you're required to have expert testimony. And that would be a doctor in any specific field, such as if it was a lung case, you would have a physician, a pulmonologist that deals with that. I also do a lot of product cases, so there are times you use engineers. And sometimes a forensic expert is not even an expert by schooling, but is an expert by trade. In essence, if somebody is doing something for a period of time and they develop their own expertise at it, they can become a forensic evidence. The courts basically, their question is, will this person's testimony, the forensic expert testimony, aid the jury in understanding the issues before it? And if the answer to that is yes, and the person then shows that they have expertise in that issue, the court, in essence, admits their testimony.
Understood. Well, that makes perfect sense. So when you're looking around for the various forensic experts, what do you look for, like qualifications? And you a minute ago, you mentioned it's not always education. What other types of things?
It's not always education. And because for certain fields, in essence, even like a field like looking at the videotape, you're not really going to find a school in it. You know, you're not going to say, oh, I went to University of California and studied film. That person probably isn't going to be able to tell you whether or not there was an edit. You know, you're going to need to have somebody who's worked in the field for years. And that person says, wait, I know what an edit looks like. Here's what an edit looks like. Here's what you're looking for, A, B, and C. And based on that, my opinion is there is or is not an edit here. So it really, the first step is that person qualified? If the person is qualified, then I do an interview with them. I want to, and normally it's a face-to-face. I want to see what they look like. I want to see how they talk and how they present themselves. Because I am doing the same thing that many jurors do. They look at the person and say, look, I'm looking at this person. He's testifying. Is he believable? Is he credible? And a lot of times that's how when a person conveys themselves, looking at them is important.
What types of things are a turnoff for jurors when it comes to the appearance of an expert witness?
Well, you never know what will turn off a jury. So I don't think you can really say that there's something that will turn a jury off. However, through the years, there's been books written on jury selection, and there are psychologists who are jury consultants who come in and talk to you about exactly what a jury might or might not like. And the key is, since you don't know how a jury's going to react, the key is you play the odds. You play the odds. So most jury consultants will say, please don't give me an expert that has a tattoo, a showing tattoo. Not that a jury might or might not like it. It's like they're playing the hunches. There's certain groups of people in the country that probably would not like their daughters, their spouses, or someone to have a tattoo, and therefore you don't know if this jury will. You just try to stay away from it. So there's certain things that are just you say, okay, a tattoo, body piercings. Every time I talk to a jury consultant, they say, please don't let your expert have tattoos, body piercings. Don't let them wear big earrings. They go all the way through the clothes and everything.
Because people are judging them, whether we care to admit it or not. It totally makes sense.
They are judging. There's no question. People have to judge them. They have to judge the expert's credibility to know how much weight to give to that testimony.
That makes sense. Is there any cases that you've worked on in the past where a forensic expert was absolutely invaluable?
Well, almost on every case I work on, because of the complex nature of the cases I'm working on, a forensic expert is invaluable. For a doctor to come in and be able to explain the surgery to the jury in layman's terms, instead of talking like he's talking to a medical student, and for that jury then to understand exactly what went wrong during that surgery in layman's terms, that's the kind of testimony that is not only invaluable, required. Because if a jury can't understand the case, how do they decide which way to go on the case?
No, that makes sense. Is there anything you've ever seen in your years that an expert witness did wrong, something you wish you could go back and fix, or that you observed from another expert witness on the opposing side that they did wrong in a case?
Yes. At one point in time when I was cross-examining an expert vigorously, because I did not believe that his bases and his opinion were valid, he started screaming at me in open court. That's a no-no. Don't yell at the lawyer. So, that was one that was obviously wrong. Another is if you're, the biggest mistake I see experts do is they're not listening to the full question. That they hear the question, and they're halfway through the question, they think they know where the question is going to go, so they formulate their answer, and then the question just at the end turns a little bit, and then their answer is contrary to their normal position would be. And they don't catch it because they're thinking, well, they should be listening.
Got it. Well, that makes perfect sense. I can certainly relate to that, being an expert witness. Thank you, Shawn. This is fabulous information, and I knew you would be good at this.
I hope I could help.
Heck yeah! I hear the construction's still going on in the building there.
They're still drilling above my head.
Oh man! Well, I hope it's over soon, and I'll keep in touch. I know we'll be talking.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Anything I can do, Ed, call me. Don't hesitate.
Thanks, Shawn. Talk to you later.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. This concludes this episode of Blindspot. If you subscribe to this podcast, you'll be notified of future episodes as they're produced. We welcome your comments and questions at primeauforensics@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. I believe there's a growing need for forensic experts in the United States as well as other parts of the world. That's why I decided to create this podcast. When I'm at social gatherings and people ask me what I do for a living, they become very interested in